Good morning, daily fantasy lovers. It's your buddy ChopTalk. I am going to come at you with an episode of Dual Threat Chop Talk, brought to you today by DFSArmy.com, your one-stop shop for all things DFS. From MMA to PGA, we've got you covered. Content, tools, coaching, the whole bit. 20 coaches, 40 staff, over 2,000 members constantly talking DFS. Group think, helping each other bootstrap themselves to better lineups. So run down into the comments section today. Click the link, DFSArmy.com. Use coupon code CHOP. Sorry if you missed the one-day only Black Friday bonanza. We had, I don't know, about 20 people take advantage of it, so that was awfully cool. But today we're back to the 10% off code CHOP, C-H-O-P, to trigger that 10% off monthly as long as you remain a member inside DFSArmy.com. So if you want a little bit of coaching, you want to help get better, talk bankroll management, contest selection, things like that, if you follow my DFS diary thread today, it's going to update again. We're going to put this video in there. Below it will be the ladder system, which has revolutionized the way people play daily fantasy sports and the way they allocate their contests. Let's dive in today. Let's talk NBA and hockey. I'm going to break down 3 slates for you, the main hockey slate and 2 NBA slates. It's going to go really, really fast. So grab a pen, grab some paper. You hear my kids running around. Apologize for that. But grab some pens, grab some paper. We're going to blow this thing up in about 10 seconds. While I'm waiting for the DFS Army website to come up with their research, I've always got a backup plan. I've always got somewhere else to go. You always need to be thinking about what happens when you can't get the numbers you want when you want them. So that's where I jump over to dailyfantasynerd.com. Used to go to RotoGrinders. That works too. This is a very, very fast way. I can uncheck the boxes for the slate, the 3-game NBA slate that I want to play, and I can start jamming out just like I do with the and one. I don't get the and one rating, I don't get DFS Army projections, but I get something pretty decent, something that's going to point me in another solid direction to narrow down my research. The first thing I'm going to do on this site is I'm going to click fantasy points. I'm going to sort top to bottom by fantasy points. And I'm going to go position by position by position. I'm going to come back and search for overall value. We're going to knock out a player pool on a 3-game slate that amounts to about 25 players. We're going to do it in about 2 seconds here, about 2 minutes. Russell Westbrook, John Wall, Jamal Murray. Top 3 raw points. Then I'm going to double click on value here. Bring the value guys up to the top, see if anybody changes. All right, Ryan's in there. Derrick Rose is in there. There's 5 point guards. Boom, 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 boom. Done. I'm going to come up to shooting guard. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go back to fantasy points, raw points, Holiday, Levine, Beal. Then I'm going to click on value and see if I don't mix it up. There's Blankley and there's Schroeder. Boom. And I'm going to be watching for Justin Holiday because I know he's cheap. I'm not going to write him down yet. I'm going to make sure he makes my list. We got to draw lines in the sand here if we're going to be good players. Paul George, Mirotic, Covington, done. Double click the value over here. Porter, Hernan Gomez, done. And it's nice to see that Mirotic and Covington almost made the list again. So write these down. Clicking over here again, AD, Carter Jr., Jeremy Grant. Go by value. Grant, Davis, hey, look at that. That's good. When we double up on a position, they're showing value and they're projected high for raw points. Those are going to be guys we're going to key on in our lineup builds. And Trey Lyles. And then Wendell Carter almost makes the list again. Tosh Gibson's floating around down there. We'll see if he makes the list. Karl Anthony Towns, Jokic, Steven Adams. Click over by value. These are all tied for 4.7, so I'd probably include them all in the value metrics. So Cat, Jokic, Dwight Howard, Nerlens Noel, Steven Adams, Julius Randle make the list too, sort of, almost. I'm going to come down here all. Now I'm going to sort by pure value. And I'm going to go scooping up the rest. I like seeing people over 20 points. I don't like seeing people projected under 20 points. But Blankley, Porter, Hernan Gomez, we've already got on the list. Russell Westbrook, that's a great sign. John Wall, great sign. Schroeder, great sign. Jeremy Grant, Justin Holiday, there he is. I'd pick him up. Anything above about a 4.7, I'd go ahead and pick up. So if I scroll down a little more, Davis, Towns, Jokic, Holiday, Mirotic, Wiggins. We might add Wiggins, Covington, Howard, there's Ryan, there's Noel. I don't know if I'd use Noel. I need to see that he's going to actually play. Wes Johnson. Might add Wes Johnson, and I'd call it a day. And when I write that down, I've got what looks like 26 names, 26, 27 names on my value list. Pretty simple. That slate is now done. Now I can go over here. I'm going to unclick all of these, and I'm going to unclick these late 3 games, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. I've written them down. I can either use optimizers or I can use my own hand building methods. I'll show you the optimizer up here in a minute. It's not as good as DFS Army, not even close. So I go again by projected points. Kick off the point guard, Irving, Fox, Bledsoe. go value, Rozier, Patty Mills, maybe Bryn Forbes. Okay, so there's 5, maybe 6. Do the same thing with our fantasy points, total raw points, DeRozan, Doncic, Klay Thompson. And those of you that are laughing at this method, you watch it perform. Bogdanovich, Iguodala. You guys dig way too deep into numbers. You guys sit there and nerd out on who tied their shoelaces with their left hand today and think that's going to give you an edge. I'm telling you right now, let the fantasy sites do the work for you. Kevin Durant, Antetokounmpo, Gordon Hayward, Gay, Hayward, Jellica. Maybe. Okay? So we've got ourselves, 4 to 5 names, and I'm going to get this list of 4 or 5 people no matter what it is that I do. LMA, Tatum, Bagley. Down here getting a little ahead of myself. Bagley, double check. Kleber, Tatum, double check. LMA, Marcus Morris, maybe. Probably not at a 4.5x. No optimizer's going to pull him anyway. DeAndre Jordan, Will Cauley-Stein, Brook Lopez, maybe Al Horford. Brook Lopez, DeAndre Jordan, Will Cauley-Stein, maybe Al Horford. See how that one worked? Duplicate. That's a tight centers list. We're going to come back to all. We're going to click off on the value again. Brolo, Bogdan, Iggy, Terry Rozier, we'll put him on the list. Bagley, Gay, we'll put him on the list if we didn't already. Brogdon, we'll put him on the list if we didn't already. Buddy Hield, we'll put him on the list if we didn't already. Jellica, Kleber's on there. Patty Mills on there. DeRozan's on there. Tatum, Bryn Forbes, Kevin Durant, Marcus Aldridge. These guys are all on the list, right? So we don't need to look that much further than that. When I wrote this one down, I had 25 names on that late slate. All I'm going to do is take these 25 names, I'm going to check and uncheck the boxes in the optimizer when the optimizer is loaded with our projections, and I'm going to mix and match, run a couple of unique players, and run a little bit of exposure down to maybe 70% of my lineup so nobody's in all of them. I'm going to grab 3-4 lineups, go throw them in some tournaments. Actually, while we're doing it, let's jump out here. I'll show you something before we do the hockey. But I want to show you really quickly the optimal lineup on this website. These will change, so I'm not sharing you any interesting information, but watch this. They're all going to be the same. When I click them, they're all mostly the same again. When I click them, they're all mostly the same again. There's only 1 or 2 names that change. This sucks because it doesn't allow me to control how widespread my lineup gets. It doesn't allow me to adjust and to maybe spread out for tournaments or for cash games or anything like that. It's forcing me to take a very, very, very tight pool of players, which is great if the projections are on that night, but if they're off, I'm screwed. I'm absolutely fucked across the entire slate. I spread out. I hedge my bets. I will give myself multiple shots to win in tournaments that are a little bit wider spread in case things go wrong. Like last night, I put 4 lineups in each of these couple of tournaments I'm getting ready to show you, and to be honest with you, I didn't do very well. The overall core was pretty bad, but I did eke out cash in a couple of the lineups, which was nice. If I'd had just 1 player different in each lineup or too much duplication, I'd have been screwed across the board completely. That's not good. So I don't like the optimizer on this site at all. I like the ease of use. I like the stat tables. I like how sortable they are. I like how we can jump around and really get information quickly. And before I waste too much time, I'm going to kick this over to hockey. And I'm going to come up here to our hockey. Where's our lobby? We want to go to NBA. And I want to show you on those later slates. See that in the main slate's fine. You're going to get information at dfsarmy.com all day long on the main slate. All our coaches, everybody's going to focus on the main slate. So I'm going to focus on the smaller stuff, the 3-game slate. I want to show you in the tournament section, sort by entry fee. You can play all these tournaments that you want. It doesn't really matter to me which one you do. But I'm going to show you, actually, let's show you first 100-man league. Because these are my go-to. These are always my go-to. Why? They pay a top 12%. Everybody gets scared of those. But when you layer and ladder in with 50-50s, triple ups, quintuple ups, things like that, this doesn't matter because if you get barely into the cashier, if you don't get into the cashier, it doesn't matter. You've still swept your ladder. Sometimes I'll take these and I will basically MME these by throwing out 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lineups into these tournaments, into these leagues. And I'm just trying to pull out more money than I put in. If I put in 10 bucks, I want to pull out more than 10 bucks. If I win 1, and nothing else cashes in 10 lineups, I'm still going to more than double my money. I'm going to bring out 25 bucks. I only put in 10. These are great ways to build bankroll, great ways to learn how to build several lineups at the same time, great way to play with the optimizers and practice with your exposures and your uniques and get a player pool down that you like, and a great way to get results on a small, cheap way to build results and build confidence in your own game before you go jamming out 150 lineups in quarters or 150, $5, max entry type tournaments. Very, very cheap way to get practice and get used to doing this. Now, I like them because 25x to a 1% lineup. 1% means 1 out of 100 chance of winning the tournament. 1%, top 1% across the industry, whether I'm playing, 5 guys or whether I'm playing 5,000 guys, if I produce a top 1% lineup, it's going to be near the top of it's going to win the 50-man usually, and it's going to be what, 50th place, around 50th place in a 5,000 person GPP. 1% is 1%. That's universal. What we're going to do is we're going to focus on, can we get 25x out of that? Because so far I've found you can't beat these contests for how frequently you can beat 100 people and how you can get paid 25 bucks on the dollar. It drops off down to $3 for top 12, so you've got to be in the top 12%. You got to get good at building top 10% lineups to really play these well. But when you do, these things are very, very, very good, because a top 1% lineup across the board, across the industry, generally only pays you about 7, 8x, maybe 10x if you're lucky. Well, I can get a 3% lineup here and get 10x. See how that makes sense? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare everything to these 100-man leagues. And I'm going to show you a couple of really quick tournament options. If you want to play for 3, 4, 5 bucks at a time. Uh-oh. Did my tourney already fill? Nope, these are the 3x100. Tell them I'm already falling off the map here. Go into the tournaments. Come down here. I'm watching $1, $2, $4 tournaments. This is a giant tournament, 4,400. I don't mind if you want to play that. I would rather focus on this little guy here. 150 people. It's not much bigger than a 100-man league. First place is 100 bucks for 4 bucks in. That's 25x. 31st place, though. Instead of paying top 12, 31st place out of 148 pays the top 21%. So it's going to pay more. You can come down here to the 7-person tournament and do the same thing. This is only a 4-entry max. This is a 2-entry max. First place is, what, 7 times 80? So let's bring the calculator back out here really quick. 80 divided by 7, it's 11x. That's not great compared to the 25x, but it's also a much smaller tournament. You're going to win it a lot more often. But we take the 15th, divide that by 67, 15 divided by 67. This is how we break down contests, guys. 22%. So 22% is better than 12%. So now that you see those, both slates offer those tournaments, $4 and $5 and $7 little bitty mini multi-entry tournaments, which are great. To me, I like those tournaments. That's where I focus a lot of my attention if I'm not in the 100-man leagues. The good news is these little guys, they fill, they guarantee. It's a guaranteed prize pool. It's going to run whether it fills or not. You need the 100-man league to fill. It's one of the down tracks or the cons to the 100-man league. Let's jump into the NHL really quick. I'll bust up your main slate player pool here. We're going to focus on some of these teams and win percentages. What I'm going to look at for goalies, I'm looking for win percent. I'll go sort off by raw points. And I'm going to really watch the win percent. I don't care about projections. I've told you that before. Value is kind of nice. It tells me when a guy is projected way above his price. So Reimer at 59%. I like the 60% chance to win. I like the 56% chance to win in DeSmith. I like the 54% chance to win in Brassoi. And if I come down here, where do we kick off? Down in here, there was a 59% in Garrett Sparks. Okay, they're going to be a little bit iffy. They're going to be a little bit rough. 54% is not much. 60% is really just a little bit better than a coin flip. So I'm also going to look over here at their L5s and their L40s, and I'm going to see who's running hot. Reimer's running a little bit hot. DeSmith's running a little bit hot. Brassoit's holding his average. So that's good. It's good, solid. Those are why those 3 goalies are going to hit my list. Kick down here onto my centers list. I'm not going raw points here. I go by L40. I want a big base. Average fantasy points produced over the last 40 games. And on my centers list, I'm going to take anyone down to about 10 points or so. So right down into here to about Jordan Staal, David Krejci, somewhere in there. So if I cruise down this list, I'm going to look for a couple things. This is where you need to write these down. When you're talking about your centers, you're looking for Tavares, Malkin, Crosby, Ryan O'Reilly, Eichel, Scheifele, Aho, Domi, Barkov, Larkin, Dubois, Couturier, Taves, Nelson, Shen, Barzal, Jenner, Kadri, Jordan, Staal. So it did stop down here at Staal. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here by the guys that are implied to score the points. Total game scored by Vegas. Not by me, by Vegas. Anybody in orange. Anything over about a 3 or real close to a 3, like a 2.96. I'm going to underline those names. So underline Tavares, Malkin, Crosby, Aho, Barkov, Dubois, Couturier. These are the guys you're going to be focused on as far as the guys that are in good spots according to Vegas to score goals tonight. And these are guys that are producing for their teams over a 40-game sample size. So we line up the stars. Now we're going to look for who's hot. I want to see this L5 last 5 games over the L40. I want to see guys who are running hot. And I see Malkin, I see Crosby, come down a little bit here. So being that they're also in good implied team total spots, definitely who I want to look at. Definitely somebody I want to build my roster around tonight. The top 5 teams, Toronto, Pittsburgh, Carolina, Columbus, and Florida, are the teams I'm really going to be targeting players from. Now I'm going to come down here. I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to look at, I already said Aho. Who am I mentioning here? I'm going back to the hot players. So Eichel is running hot. He's not in one of the top teams as far as fantasy, but implied goals tonight. But he's running hot, so he's in consideration. Close enough with Aho, half a point. That's fine. Barkov, not really. Maybe not really. Dubois, yes. Couturier, yes. Taves, yes. So you can come down here and you can sort through a lot of the stuff yourself. Barzal, yes. See how the L5 is over the L40? That's what we're looking for. I'm going to come back up here for the wings. I'm going to do the exact same thing. My list for wings is a lot longer because look, as I scroll down this list and I'm watching this column for about 10 points or so, it goes on to page 2. I'll save you the work. I'm not going to go through page 2, but I will list down. So all these guys are eligible on page 1, right? So all I really need to be worried about is who's hot and who's also running above their L40. So Cam Atkinson, duh. I mean, if you follow any hockey at all, you should know how red hot that guy is right now. And you should be rostering him because right now at $6,900, it's too cheap. I'm not saying he's a $9,000 player historically. I'm saying that right now, the way he's playing, he's too cheap at $6,900. That's value. That's what we need for hockey, and it's hard to find in hockey because it's such a fluky sport. But that's what we're looking for. And he's in a good position to score again tonight. Will he? I don't know. Are we running hot here? Yeah, Kessel. Marner, close enough. Half a point-ish. Inside a point, Garreau, maybe. Over with Hoffman, yes. Down here, down here, down here. See how I'm kind of skipping over some of these guys? They're in good spots, but they're not running hot. Also, I would prefer these guys up here that are also running hot. Scroll down a little bit more. You can find value plays in here, too. You look right here. Nope. Kyle Connor's a great, great, great player right now. He's not scheduled to score. Doesn't mean he's off my list. It means he'd be more of a GPP type of play for me tonight because he's not on the list of scoring the most goals on the slate. If that makes sense. Gallagher, same thing. But these guys are hot. See, I'd rather take a Hornquist at 5,900. Stack him with Crosby or Malkin. Because I've got an implied goals way up there, and I've got a guy who's running 10 points over his L40 baseline. He's hot as balls. So I'm going to scroll back up here really quick with defense, do the same thing. Come scrolling all the way down here. Up, see how we drop off quickly with defense? Defense is pretty valuable. I'm learning that you might want to start paying up a little bit for defense unless you can find some super cheap guys that are running really hot. Everybody likes to punt defense, go down to 3,500, 3,600, kind of throw the position away. A lot of times you get an advantage. It's kind of like a tight end, like an Ertz or like a George Kittle right now, or like what Gronk was, up until this year. You get a big advantage over the rest of the field if you take the slam dunk guy at the spot. You can either go two ways. You can punt it or you can pay up. And in some cases, I've been paying up because I'm finding wings and centers to pay down that are also producing over their heads and over their price points. So when I look here, Riley, Letang, Yandel, Jones, Gostisbehere, Hamilton, Werenski, Falk. These are the guys that are going to make my list. I'm going to look through here for who's hot. And I would see right here, Letang's fine. A little cold there. Petrangela's fine. Petrie's fine if you want to run a little bit colder game. Petrie's fine. Seabrook's fine. So is Pionk, wherever Pionk is, if he's on the slate. Doesn't look like he's on the slate. He's another one I always watch for. Mike Green in Detroit. Not a big fan of rostering Detroit players other than Anastasiou, but I don't mind Mike Green in this spot. He's running hot. Scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. Scott Mayfield probably didn't make the list here, but not terrible. Running hot. So this is how you're going to sort through these things. You need to find sites that will allow you to do this. DFS Army will allow you to do this with their and one rating for basketball, with their custom projections, and with their hockey research station where you can sort by L10s and L5s. The only reason I'm showing you this today is it's a very, very fast way to break down multiple slates, get your research done, go hang your Christmas lights, go do what you got to do. But more importantly, have a backup plan for when you wake up in the morning and something else is that you're usually ready for isn't ready to go. This is a premium site. You pay for it, so I apologize for that. You can get the same thing on Roto Grinders sometimes, for free. You can get the same thing in a lot of different places. I'm just showing you where I kind of go as a backup plan. I'm a completely transparent coach. I'll tell you exactly what I do, tell you exactly how I do it. I hide inside DFSArmy.com though, because we are the only site that actually coaches you and tells you what we do and how we do it. Okay, if you like that kind of content, you like that kind of coaching, you like that kind of discussion, you need to be a VIP, you need to kick into DFSArmy.com, click the link in the comment section at the bottom of the video, hit like and subscribe while you're down there. Use coupon code CHOP, trigger that 10% off discount. This will be in the DFS diary back out here on Twitter. In a little bit when this video uploads, I'd love for you to retweet my tweet, because you retweet me and you follow, you win a free month of December as a VIP. What I'm doing is I'm taking all of the retweeters and entering them into a pool, and I'm paying for 2 VIP memberships now. So get yourself entered into the sweepstakes. Get yourself in here. Help me spread the word. The more you do, the more I produce, the more we all win together. So anyway, it's been Chop Talk for NBA NHL Saturday. 20 minutes or so. Let's bail out of here and let's get started with our weekend, guys. Have a good one, and I will talk to you guys probably Monday. Take care.